This is the XMG Pro 16 Studio, a machine marketed as a content creation laptop. But for the life of me, I can't work out how this is any different than a normal gaming laptop. Let me show you around it and maybe we can work this out together. I'll start with the specs. This comes with an i9-13900H, not the more powerful HX, just the standard H. This only has 6 P cores and 8 E cores, not the 8 and 16 that the HX offers. This has a 45W TDP, which is on the lower end for Intel CPUs these days. RAM-wise, like all XMG machines, you can pick your configuration. So I've gone with 32GB of DDR5-4800 RAM and 2TB of M.2 SSD space. You can option this up to 64GB of RAM if you prefer, and there's actually 2 M.2 slots in here, so you can have up to 8TB from the factory if you want to splash out. You can also option the GPU. I went with an RTX 4060 laptop GPU here, although you can have a 4070 if you'd prefer, and video on the cards to explain why you probably don't. As you might expect from that spec then, this performs pretty well, although not exactly top of the pack. I tested this in both the stock entertainment mode and the performance mode, the top end one, the latter of which seems to allow the fans to ramp up a little more and help eke out a touch more performance. In Cinebench, basically Cinema 4D's rendering test, the 3900H in the studio struggles to keep up with the higher core count chips, including in XMG's own machines. It offers around 17,700 points compared to the 3900HX based machines, which are a good 10,000 points higher. XMG's own Focus 16 ran 60% faster than this studio machine. Blender is the same story, with the studio, even in performance mode, struggling against the 3900HX in the XMG Pro 15, which was running around 55% faster in the Gooseberry render. Something I haven't shown in a while, but I think is pretty relevant here, is the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite and the Puget Bench tests for their main apps, the Premiere Pro, After Effects, and Photoshop. When sorting for Premiere performance, the results here are somewhat disappointing too, as the Strix Scar 16 with its 13980HX, the same chip just slightly higher TDP, reports a 28% higher score. After Effects is the same, albeit with a much smaller margin, although Photoshop shows promise with the Pro 16 Studio outperforming the two other chips that I have good data for. So if the performance isn't exactly groundbreaking, there must be something else that makes this a content creation machine. Maybe it's the cooling package, keeping everything super quiet even under load. A quick peek inside does reveal a large vapor chamber cooler, which on the whole does keep the machine remarkably quiet, at least in the entertainment mode anyway. The problem here is kind of with the fans. When the machine is just idling with any sort of minor load, the fans have a fairly high-pitched whine to them that somewhat drove me mad having this next to me for days while doing this testing. It is a remarkably quiet sound, and so you might miss it, and it depends on the load, but it is unmistakably annoying when you do hear it. And of course, when the fans do ramp up, they aren't exactly ultra quiet either, although they are definitely a notch below most other machines that I test. Okay, maybe it's the display then. Maybe that's what makes this a content creation machine. Let's see what we've got here. Well, it's 2560 by 1600. That's pretty good, and good for, content creation, a bit more screen real estate. It's IPS, wonderful. The 240Hz, okay, sure. I mean, that's good for, the gaming on the side, as long as it doesn't, sacrifice any color gamut coverage or accuracy. Just 95% coverage of the sRGB spectrum, the smallest color space available? That's disappointing. Now, in practice, it does actually do better than XMG's claims, covering over 100% of the sRGB spectrum and 81% of the DCI-P3 color space. but for a content creation machine, I'd really have hoped for more like 95 to 100% coverage of DCI-P3, not sRGB. I'd also like to have seen a calibration report for the display in the box, seeing as this does have X-Write's software pre-installed. Naturally, you'll need to pick up a calibrator to do the actual calibration, and I did use my new Spider X2 to check the color accuracy as well, and it was pretty good, with an average delta E of 1.48. Although that mid-blue was wildly off with a delta E of 4.7, which isn't exactly great for a studio machine. If you're interested in the brightness figures, I measured around 375 nits at most, and at 50% brightness, it was a 1500 to 1 contrast ratio, which is better than average, although with just 375 nits at peak, you won't be editing HDR content on this, and you might struggle working in a very bright environment. Naturally, I did also run it through its paces with my open source response time tool, which reported an average response time of 10 milliseconds, or basically 100 Hz equivalent. That's pretty poor, especially considering this is meant to be a 240 Hz panel. That impacts the gaming performance, adding a reasonable amount of ghosting to what should be a smooth and responsive experience. Although you might also find it's a little slow on the reaction time front too, as my response time tool reported an average on-display latency of 7.6 milliseconds, or almost 2 frames at 240 Hz, with a number of results taking 3 frames and none taking under 1, so that's less than ideal. And actually, speaking of gaming, we should talk about the gaming performance. At the native 1600p resolution, you can expect an average of around 140 FPS, a full 100 FPS less than the refresh rate. Still, in esports titles like CS2 or Rainbow Six Siege, you'll see the full refresh rate worth of performance, although in basically anything else, you're looking at between 70 and 110 FPS average. That's certainly not bad, though obviously it could be better. At 1080p, for the sake of comparison, interestingly, the Studio 16 does rather well in Cyberpunk, leading the pack by a fraction of a frame per second, although sacrificing stability in the 1% lows to do so. Microsoft Flight Simulator shows a more realistic result, with the Studio in the middle of the pack with 103 FPS average. Fortnite has the Studio near the top again, at the top of the RTX 4060 laptop machines, which is the same in Hitman actually. At least it's the same, it's at the top of the 4060 machines anyway, although a little bit lower down the pack. Siege has it in the middle again, running on par with the Acer Helios Neo 16, and lastly in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, it's towards the back of the pack, although still matching the Focus 16, also with an RTX 4060 laptop GPU. The actual playing experience is fairly good. Of course, the display lets it down a little, but with this sort of performance, isn't too bad. The keyboard is extremely light, which makes a gaming experience great, but less so for typing and, say, video editing or content creation. It's definitely on the quieter side of gaming machines. It's obviously not silent, but it is a good notch lower than most. Of course, this isn't a gaming machine, or at least it isn't marketed as one. So when we're talking about the sort of editing experience, that's pretty mixed. The trackpad is massive, which is great. It's responsive and accurate, so no problems there. As I mentioned, the keyboard is certainly on the lighter side for my taste, and the whine of the fans just drove me up the wall. The display is okay, but could definitely be better. An OLED perhaps? Interestingly, if we peek inside again, you'll also notice the battery is a remarkably small 73 watt-hour unit, which makes for a less than ideal on-battery experience, especially with this sort of hardware. So again, I'm still left wondering, what about this is creator focused? Legitimately, the only thing that I can figure out is the pre-installed X-Write software, but it doesn't come with a calibrator, the display isn't studio quality, the performance is kind of average for the price. I'm just left feeling confused. If I look at it as a gaming machine, it certainly isn't bad. An overdrive mode for the display would be great to speed it up because it clearly needs it, but otherwise it's a pretty decent option. And for the price, around 2,000 euros for my spec, or probably around £2,500 once it's imported to the UK, it isn't too bad. But this isn't a content creation machine. Of course, those are my thoughts, but I would love to hear yours in the comments down below. What do you think about the XMG Pro 16 Studio? Is this actually a content creation machine? Does it, fit the bill for you? Or if not, what would you like to see improved on this to make it so? If you want to check it out, I will leave a link to them in the description down below to bestware.de if you want to spec one out yourself and check out pricing. Also, if you want to see more videos like this one, you can hit the subscribe button, turn on the bell notification icon. If you want to check out more laptop reviews or general gaming hardware, I have a load of them on the channel already. Check out the playlist on the end cards. And if you want to be able to test stuff like this yourself, you can pick up my open source response time or latency testing tools at osrtt.com. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you on the next video.